आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रमथो बलमेन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, the mind, the sensory and motor organs, and the life force become perfected. All is verily the one, absolute, all-pervading, ever blissful existence itself, called Brahman. Let me never deny Brahman. May the Brahman never reject me either. May all the virtues necessary to experience Brahman in life be with me. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us feel the oneness of existence, which will then indicate that this is the absolute peace and bliss too. Let us feel we are like ice cubes. In a huge heap of ice cubes, I am one of them. I am identifying with my shape, my size, and then feel the other ice cubes to be different from me. I form relationships with them. Some become my parents, some siblings, some friends, some colleagues, some enemies, and a lot of them unrelated. All is different. Every piece is different. I am different. Others are different. But brought into the warm temperatures. I see I am losing shape. I am changing. And so also others. Gradually I am feeling this truth that actually there is no difference except in continuously changing shape and the name that gets associated with the shape. I see I have melted, gone. My separateness has disappeared. In the beginning, there was just an illusion of separation. Actually, it was all one, except for the shapes. Seeing this, all the desires are gone, for I am all that is. I am bliss itself. I am peace itself. Nothing to worry, nothing to do. Om, peace, peace, peace. This clicker. Thank you. So this is 182nd class, and let us begin with our regular prayer. Please recite it as loudly as you can. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. That from whom creation, sustenance, and dissolution of the universe take place, who is both the instrumental and material cause of it, who is omniscient, is the only one having self-mastery, being the one independent entity, who illumined the mind of Brahma with the Vedic revelation, whose wisdom is the wonder of even the greatest sages, in whom the world of the three gunas subsists, just as the combination of materials like fire, water and earth subsist in their causes without changing their elemental nature, in whose consciousness there is nothing false. On that truth supreme we meditate. So that is the purpose of this whole study to meditate on the truth supreme, the truth absolute, beyond all particularizations, beyond all shapes, names, etc. That truth is the subject of meditation of all scriptures. So, uh, here we do it through various stories and incidents. So, what we were discussing earlier was a very nice story illustrating how our ego becomes big, feels invincibility, feels the arrogance that I can do anything I want, and then thus uh, got drunk with this ego. Now you can imagine how that life would be. No respect for anything else, nothing but that I and mine, that is being felt, that all this belongs to me, everything is subservient to me. That is how the ego attitude is. Now this ego is pictured as a huge elephant. Elephant, as you know, is a big animal, quite powerful, and that elephant, followed by a big herd, uh, and that elephant, to cool itself off of the sun heat, gets into this huge lake, and there it got a rude shock. A crocodile caught the feet of the one foot of this elephant. The big ego power gets into the jaws of more powerful crocodile of the world. This is how our ego meets somebody who is of superior strength. The egos clash. I feel I am big and I am powerful. But wait a minute, there is something more powerful than you are. There is, therefore, one has to learn this lesson through this kind of a very traumatic incident that otherwise we don't learn. We brush aside. Not that the lessons don't come our way, they come, but because of the overpowering ego, we just brush them aside and just keep on reminding ourselves that you are great. Nobody can be superior to you. You are the ruler of the whole universe, and so forth, till a rude shock gets us. The crocodile catches a foot of this elephant in its terrible jaws. And now the elephant is feeling helpless. Elephant was pretty strong on the land, and crocodile is not strong on the land. But when it comes to water, now the strength of the crocodile becomes apparent. Its terrible crushing jaws and now are holding the foot of the elephant and gradually taking the elephant further down. So the pride of the elephant ego, pride of the ego elephant gets crushed. Gradually, you see that there is this somebody I cannot overcome. He could not shake his foot free in spite of summoning all his strength. He could not find a way to escape. The crocodile was gaining on him and dragging him deeper. Now comes the moment of prayer. When there is the big ego, we cannot really pray properly. It is only those who have been able to subdue their ego can pray. Otherwise, the prayer does not come about. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a great devotee, prescribes, that trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada harihi. That who is really capable or worthy of singing the praises of God or praying to God, the one who feels oneself lower or less than even a blade of grass, trunadapi sunichena, and uh, is ready to, give shelter to everybody, like a big, huge tree. The tree, if somebody comes to under it for shelter, the tree doesn't reject. So, here is, you have such a person, Taroriva Sahishnuna. They, Sahishnuna means they have forbearance. They give shelter to the woodcutter also. The tree cutter comes there and does the work of cutting that very tree under the shade of that very tree. So, Taroriva Sahishnuna, so much of forbearance. And Amanina, they do not have any ego demand, but are able to always, they give honor to others. So, such a person is capable of properly praising the Lord who is dwelling in all hearts. God, okay, you make an image in the shrine and then pray there. That is a very simple, ordinary prayer. Means ordinary in the sense there is no really much cultivation of virtues required for that. A little bit is required even for that. But it is not enough to really pray to the Lord who is in everybody's heart, appears as all different beings. So one requires to pray to Lord. The question is, do we want to do good prayer or not? What? Should we do prayer properly, Adi, or improperly? Obvious, no brainer, yeah. We should do it properly. So, how can we pray properly? These are the virtues that need to be inculcated. That we should feel ourselves to be smaller, lesser than even a blade of grass. It is. See, who is telling this? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. a great scholar of unparalleled that uh, acknowledgement from people, unparalleled recognition of that time. So he is telling that no, be lower than even a blade of grass. Then be, forbearing like a tree. And then also give respect, honor to others. Don't seek any respect for yourself. So these are the qualifications to do the prayer in the right way. So this is what one gets taught when the ego gets bulldozed. It is, oh, I was thinking I am all powerful. I was thinking I am the best. I was thinking that I can do anything. And one becomes arrogant, incapable of then doing any prayer. The prayer also done with that kind of arrogance. Look, I pray every day for 1 hour. So is that arrogance develops. That is not then the proper prayer. One has to subdue the ego. That is, then the prayer can actually happen in life. So, this ego elephant now is getting dragged down, and it sees now that, yeah, only I have the support is that of God, and God alone can uh, rescue me from this. You will, as we go into the prayer, we will see he is not praying just for the getting rescued from this crocodile. This crocodile is he is thinking of the crocodile as uh, an instrument of destiny. A prayer issues from this helpless, terribly scared elephant in the jaws of impending death. And death is a great equalizer. So one can see death is therefore a form of the divine, a great teacher that comes to us. Things just perish. Everything goes to death. Whether you are a highly learned person or an illiterate, both going to die. Whether you are a multi-billionaire or a beggar on the street, both are going to die. At death, everybody becomes the same. You cannot take your billions with you. It is, you cannot take your uh, all the laurels you got for your high learning, all is gone. You may be a big emperor, and I could be a just an ordinary subject. With death, all becomes equal. Even the saint or sinner, both die. Therefore, death is a great teacher. It is not for nothing that in Kathopanishad, one of the most popular of the Upanishads, the teacher is death, and death teaches that, oh, whatever you were proud about, it is soon going to go away, as that Thomas A. Kempis therefore tells in Imitation of Christ, a great treatise, Imitation of Christ, that No, that vanity, vanity, and all is vanity. All that you were thinking worth coveting, all going to be just a few seconds, and everything is gone. Mm. It is, you don't, when you think of death, it is, that becomes, the attitude. In one hospital ward, I saw this. This is imaginary video, but it brings out a very good truth that there were many patients, and and a doctor on the round. She is a lady. She is looking at everybody's card and goes to one patient. Oh, Mr. Derrill, it seems that you have only max 1 hour to live. Your condition is terrible. And that Derrill gets shocked and says, I will make a few phone calls before I perish, I die. He calls his brother that, oh, we were fighting over these silly properties. Uh, Take it all. I am making it all in for you. I am telling the bank and others that all becomes now yours. Uh, and then also tells, calls and tells some people that, okay, this I am now giving this all the bank securities to them, this person, that person, that person. Uh, and as he was telling, he asked the doctor, so another half an hour, 1 hour, and and she says, yes, Daryl. Oh, I am not Daryl, uh, I am Charles. Oh, and who is Daryl? A person sleeping on the other bed wakes up. I am Daryl. Oh, you are Charles. You are getting better. This in a few minutes you will be getting discharged today from hospital. But already he had disbursed all his property and money. So what I mean is, just think, this is very illustrative, isn't it? When the death comes, everything gets leveled. What money are you going to make use of? Nothing is going to be of any help. So this, now ego realizes it. Ego in the form of this elephant, that this is all impending death now. So it is, the elephant now sees the crocodile as the stranglehold of destiny. And now the prayer ensues that I take refuge in God, who is refuge of all, including Brahma, the creator. And means the God gives responsibility to somebody to create. Like a contractor is given responsibility that you construct this. So like that, Brahma has been assigned with this job. Okay, you create. So must be quite powerful, to make everything this universe. So and all such entities, they are actually subservient to God. It is, this is something that we must remember. All this is subservient to God. He says, salutations to thee, who are the cause of all causes, and who therefore art without any cause. To thee, uh, who art the unique first absolute cause, who in becoming the multiplicity of effects are unaffected in the least, unlike all relative causes. This is a very important point to understand and feel that in my childhood I used to have this question very often that it is this world, God created this whole world, and we used to sing many nice songs and poems about God who created this very shiny sun and the beautiful looking moon and all the stars and these very pretty looking flowers and so forth. Nice poems. God created all this. The question that used to haunt me was, who created God? And God created all this, God created us, all right. But who created that fellow? It is, and naturally nobody was able to give any satisfactory answer. Who created God? And no, God has no creator. God is self-created. God exists. But then why all these things don't exist? Why you need God to create them? Can we not say they exist on their own? They need a creator. Then why God doesn't need a creator? Who creates God? Now, this is that in theology, in all theologies, including this Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Vedanta, that this question comes up as to the first cause. Now, by the very definition of first, if it is first cause, then there cannot be cause of its, because then it will not be the first cause. So, it is considered the cause of which there is no other cause. But the solution for this, the problem, then how that first cause comes into being. The Vedanta answer it like, no, that first cause does not come into being. It is being. It is being. But then when it creates all this, what happens to its being? Nothing happens to its being. In remaining just unchanging, that all this manifests on that divine. All the so-called big or small, bright and dark, all sorts of this contradictory dualities, they appear on that without making any change to the that one creator, the one being. Like I'll have given that analogy very often, but nothing is lost in repeating it. In the movie, you see all these different objects, different incidents, and different people on the screen. So many incidents are happening. The movie is think of an event full fast moving things are shown there in the movie. And there are some good people there, some bad people. That contrasts have to be there. So now, does the screen get in any way affected by that? It is all seen on the screen. Screen does not get affected in the least. And yet, all those pictures that are being seen, what are they? They are just screen. If you go to hug a person, so good, let me make friends with that. You go and try to hug. What will you hug, John? Whom will you hug? Huh? You like a person in the movie, and then you thought, let me give a nice a hug to this person. Whom will you hug? You don't know whom you will hug. Everyone. Whom will you hug? Ashutosh, whom will you hug? Screen, correct. That is the reality there. All other things are just appearances. They come, they go. Leaving the screen completely unaffected. A big towering inferno. There was a movie with that name long ago when I used to be a high school student. So it was such a huge fire, and people would get really scared that they are going to get burned while watching the movie. But nothing happened. We saw the movie and came out without any, even scar of burning. Nor the screen got burned. So much fire on the screen. Screen did not get even heated up. So it is, nothing happens to God. In this whole process of creation, God remains unaffected completely. Why you don't agree, Charles? You agree? Okay. Yeah. So it is. It is through you all the scriptures they come forward. The scriptures, they are your manifestations, and by using them one comes to see the reality of you, O God. It is the salutations continue like that, that to thee who that blesses everybody. Now you see, this elephant is almost drowning. The ego is getting submerged in the divine presence. I take refuge in the eternally existent one from whom this universe has appeared. He is the unimpeded awareness, the self-luminous consciousness. It is self-luminous consciousness. All other consciousness, sometimes one is conscious, sometimes not. But this is the consciousness which gets reflected in all material things. And this is an important aspect to remember, that God alone is self conscious, and therefore there is no other reason for things to become conscious. God alone is the self conscious thing. The Then he continues here, salutations to thee, the embodiment of pure consciousness and the Lord of all, who, though the indweller within all, are difficult to approach by those who are attached to their own body, to relations like spouse, children, kith and kin, and to possessions like properties, wealth, etc., who art thyself without any involvement with the uh, gunas of Prakriti, though functioning through them. Mm. A very important statement here that who can realize this truth? Mm. As we were meditating in this before the class, one who doesn't identify with the shape, with the body. I am so and so. Mm, I am 6 feet tall. This is my weight. This is, yeah, this is my disease. This is my problem. And this is my education. All that when if one identifies what Sri Ramakrishna used to repeatedly warn against, that getting identified with body, that body, although is not I, gets called I. Very silly, and we commit this terrible mistake as if I am the body. I am not body. It is seen like any other object I am seeing. This body is also seen. It is not seer. So one must make this distinction. I am not body, and nothing is mine. What we call mine? Uh, my siblings, my spouse, my parents, are they yours? No connection. As such, one ice cube forming connection with another ice cube. That's it, isn't it? That both are melting, both are changing. Uh, so nothing really is mine, but we have that pride. This is mine. No, nothing is yours. What happens by saying something as mine is whatever I call mine becomes my bondage. So, therefore, we are told here that those who have this idea, I am this body and this is mine, they cannot realize it. The truth doesn't change, but the realization of the truth depends on this. We may not experience this truth. That is where the problem comes. And thus we keep on suffering and suffering. Do you want to keep on suffering, Mark? Huh? Huh? That is the to suffer. Okay, okay, yeah. So since it is your favorite thing to do, so you can continue, isn't it? Uh, yeah. So that is the reason for suffering. Thinking that I am this body, this little entity, and this heap of flesh, blood, and what not. So that is how this suffering continues. We do not see the truth. The moment we see the truth, suffering ends. So he continues here further that it is that I sing the praise of him whose unique and glorious deeds uh, his uh, his surrendered devotees hymn about in a mood of wholehearted and blissful uh, abandon to the exclusion of desire for every fulfillment, including moksha of him, the imperishable, the Brahman. So, this is the prayer that I want only liberation and nothing else. So, that is what now this ego is praying. And the prayer of the ego contains this he, from a very minor particle of whom all the devas and the Vedas and the mighty universe of living and non living beings were given shape with name and form. He out of whom, as spark from fire and rays from sun, the evolutes of Prakriti, like the intellect, the mind, all this really springs from Him and subsist in Him, dissolve in Him. I have no desire to live on this in this world. Of what use is life in this elephant body, wherein wheels of ignorance hide the spiritual vision, both from within and without? Ah, one has to develop that kind of dispassion for this bodily existence. Ah, what avail it is going to be to us. So, uh, this prayer like this continues that I salute him who is the master and the reward of all yogic disciplines. We do spiritual practice, have follow yogic disciplines. Very good. But for what? In themselves, they don't have much value. It is only as the tools to realize the divine, our ultimate goal, and they have some value, not otherwise. So one has to remember this, that all the spiritual practices are for realizing this ultimate truth, and do it with that in mind, not in themselves. Oh, I did that 1 million repetitions of name. Okay, yeah, for what? Then that person boasts everywhere. That I am the one who has completed this 1 million repetitions. Gives a big party, invites everybody, and then sends the message to everyone, takes photographs, sends pictures to all, that how and now I have completed 1 million times that repetition of mantra. Okay, good, but what is the use? That is not for that purpose. There is that very famous verse of Kabir, this Saint Kabir, that you spend the whole life doing that your beads. But your mind didn't turn. That the only the bead went on turning. The mind remained where it was. So it is that is not the really any meditation or doing the mantra. The mantra is to make the mind turn away from the world and to God, away from the illusion to towards the reality, the truth. So this is how it should be done. Otherwise, mala pherat jug bhaya phirana man ka pher. Karka man ka dali de, man ka pher. That it is, one has to feel this connection while doing the mantra, that it is for changing the mind, that we are uh, doing this, not for its own sake. There is no possibility of that, no use for that. You can, what is the point? You did it. It is like this, It is like pressing the gas pedal without putting the vehicle in the drive gear. Now what happens? It is in park and you turn in the key and now are pressing the gas pedal. It will make just a big noise. People will know, oh, this fellow meditates a lot. Nothing happens. The car does not move an inch forward. So one should not think in this manner, that all these practices are to be done to bring down this ego, which is the obstacle. I am divine, but there is this ego, that, as that beautiful Sufi saying says, न होती खुदी तो मैं खुदा ही तो था. Hmm. I was divine. Had there been no this I awareness, no separate I, then I was God, this separate I. Now I have become very little. So it is thus the elephant is struggling and struggling like that, doing all these prayers, and in the process of this praying, gradually the ego is getting erased, and then this elephant gets the release, continues, Om. This is the mantra that he remembers, the elephant ego remembers, that received this mantra from the Guru in past incarnation, when the ego was not so dominant. So he had received the mantra, but because of the upsurge of the ego, it was all forgotten. Now, as the ego got submerged, the mantra gets remembered and starts saying that mantras. There are various types of mantras. This is mantra like a prayer. Om, my salutations to the one who bestows consciousness to inert objects, the one who has neither birth nor death nor activity, who is uh, plain isness beyond any name or form. There is always a debate about this. Can you prove that God exists? Can it be proved that God exists? And the Vedantist answer that no, God cannot be proved that God exists, because God is existence itself. It is not an existence of things like this chair and this hall and the people. No, God's existence is not like that. It is the isness. The God is that alone. So one must see this truth, that it is the isness. Everywhere you see this, that this is, this is, this is. And now, if we observe, the shapes change. Like the ice cubes that we were thinking about meditating on, that these ice cubes, they change the shapes. We say this ice cube is, this ice cube is, this ice cube is. Now all that isness is actually the one thing. The shapes didn't have any stability or existence. They were changing all the time. Like our shapes, I am, this is. They change, not the same. Mm. These chairs, for example, appear same. Not exactly. It is not too long ago. Uh, some wonderful volunteers, they put the rubber shoes under their legs so that they do not make screechy noises. So it means that it undergoes change gradually. After some years, the upholstery may have to be done again. It is because it gets that erosion, it wear and tear that happens. So our bodies are like that. So it keeps on changing. So thus, where is our isness? God alone is. Everything else, there is not. Therefore, God doesn't exist like these things. Therefore, Buddha preferred what is called a noble silence for these questions. Does God exist? Silent. Why? Because cannot be said yes in your sense of existence. Cannot be said no, because God is existence itself. So you cannot therefore prove in a regular proving way that God is. If you prove, then God's existence will be also something changing, something coming and going, not a real isness. So this is how, when this ego thus got submerged, there is this release from this crocodile, the elephant. The ego dies. The elephant, in that sense, is gone. One gets liberated when the ego goes away. So we shall then continue that it is how this happened, the ancestry of this elephant and so forth, just for getting an idea that how this change happened. So today we shall conclude here. Uh, Let us chant this verse, and then after that, if at all you have questions, feel free to ask them. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्हो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. O devotees, quaff, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. Any question?
It's kind of funny how the universe works, or God, or whatever you want to use. Because I've been thinking about this question since Tuesday, and kind of went right along with your story. And my question was why it seems like I never hear too much about the Ashravakra Gita, which
Huh?
the Ashravakra Gita.
Well, Ashtavakra Gita is a different text, very nice text. But
So,
yeah, there were retreats and classes here on Ashtavakra Gita also at one time.
so
Yeah.
um, it kind of fits in with basically saying that suffering alone comes from the bondage to thought or labels, or the crocodile and the elephant. So, is the crocodile and the elephant not all part of the divine show, and there really is no elephant
Oh,
saying some prayer, as the divine itself is completely unaffected watching the show?
well, it is, they do not exist at all in ultimate truth. But as we are seeing this, there is this ego, this elephant, this bondage, this suffering. It goes away. If you see only the screen is there, then that's it. But if you see that there are other things, then yeah, then you have a problem. The suffering is there. Yeah. So we have to learn to go beyond that. And that is why there is the spiritual practice intended. Mm. Okay, thank you. Anybody has any question? Any question up?
Yes. Question from Taraswin.
Namaskar, Tharaswin.
Pranam.
Pranam, pranam.
Why can't bhakti stand on its alone? Why does it need to be supported by jnana? And the last part is the path of personal God insufficient?
Well, if you can be a bhakta, that is sufficient. See, for almost all of us, while certainly the path of devotion is most efficacious, yet to make that path actually work, we have to satisfy our intellect also. Otherwise, it will keep on creating obstacles. And therefore, this discussion about the what is real, what is not real, in the path of devotion also, therefore, there is the need of this discernment and dispassion, all that is there as well. Otherwise, the devotion will not become functional. So, while we have to love God, we have to see that we do not run into the other attractions. So, that is why both these things are necessary, as Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that dispassion for the worldly enjoyments and passion for God, love for God, and dispassion for the worldly enjoyments, Vishaye Virag, and Ishware Anurag. So that is how we have to have this combination in life, that there should be the path of knowledge and also the path of devotion. These are paths because we have various faculties to our life. As we have the faculty of intellection, faculty of feeling, faculty of actual that work, action. So therefore we need all these. So, if had we had only one faculty like feeling, uh, very strong, then the path of devotion would have been enough. Otherwise, as Swami Yatishwaranandaji points out, for most of us, we don't want to think, and intellectual lethargy passes for devotion. A very nice statement. Our intellectual lethargy passes for devotion. That is not devotion. So one must have both these. Practice devotion and also think about the nature of God. Is that the right answer for the question? Okay, thank you. So let us conclude. Is there another question? Okay. So let us conclude with the chant. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल.